Hey everybody, Mary Transformed here again, and today I'm reviewing the Transformers Titans Return Voyager class Alpha Trion, who is the first real big release of Alpha Trion we ever got. We've had a few options before. There was BotCon 2007 Alpha Trion, who was using the Vector Prime mold, and there was also a concept for one being a lion based off Beast Machine's Snarl, but that never made it past the paint job concept stage. There was also Creo figures. There was the Japanese Ultra Magnus from Combiner Wars came with a little tiny Alpha Trion instead of Minimus Ambus. And there's also now EX Goken, who has a very G1 accurate Alpha Trion. But this is the first kind of widespread retail one we've gotten. Start with a little Titan Master, who I believe his name is Sovereign, and yeah, no paint as usual, but to be fair, they are putting more paint on the head since he's got his full crest and mouth and all painted, so kind of expected. And it just looks like a little tiny mouth-plated robot. Doesn't look like anything particular. Usual articulation on it with legs, hips, knees the legs are stuck together. The arms, well, the head can swivel, of course. The arms can move, but they are extremely tight on mine for some reason. As you can see, yeah, it just doesn't want to move. I'm not going to risk that because I ran out break off his little arm. He does come with accessories. He comes with this little gun here, who you can sit, of course, the Titan Master in, have him ride in it. It looks alright. And you have this giant sword here. Now, of course, Alpha Trion being a Voyager in this line is a triple changer. He has two modes, a lion and a spaceship mode, which are actually based on his BotCon figures. As mentioned, the one that never got released was a lion, and the Vector Prime based mold from 2007 was actually a spaceship. So it's actually kind of neat. There are other versions of this mold. There will be a Leo Prime with the Japanese release, and part of him is being reused for Voyager class broadside, mainly the legs down here. So, we're going to get some interesting uses out of this mold. His accessories can be stored on him. The sword actually becomes his tail. As you can see at the end here, there's this little tab slot there, and you can use the edge of the sword here to actually tab it in, and it gives him a sword tail. As for the gun, I personally prefer to take it and just attach it to the side, and then you can it's almost like a fake ratchet, but you can also come under and peg it right there if you prefer, but it does make his legs have to stand slightly wider to fit in place. And it can look a little awkward. So, just gonna take that back out from under there for now. But that is where you can put it for spaceship mode, that works really well. And of course, you can come up here, open this up like a cockpit, take his Titan Master, just sit him right in, make sure you line up to where you can tap in his foot properly, and close it over, and now it's almost like Zoids. Actually, yeah, it does kind of remind me a lot of Zoids, like Liger Zero or something. So let's look at the lighting mode itself. It's very nicely painted on the face, for the most part. Got purple crest kind of going across, kind of similar to Alpha Trion's own crest. Big silver mane to kind of match his silver beard he has. A random horn for some reason. And I believe this is done in red plastic, so the mouth's not painted, except for the silver fangs coming down. But there's a lot of nice details. It does hide his hands right there. They can be a little obvious once you know they're there, but from far away, it's pretty hard to tell. It just looks like he has a white mouth for some reason. The only thing I can really complain about it is the eyes are not painted separately from the crest. They are technically painted because they are painted in purple, but so is the crest, so the eyes don't really stick out at all. So they just kind of get lost in there. And the problem with the rest of the figure is not too much of it else is painted except for, say, the claws here. And this part right here, that's mainly for robot mode. So yeah, majority of the paint goes to the face, which is nicely painted, but then the rest of it doesn't really get much. But that's also because a lot of that is exposed here, you won't see in robot mode. A lot of it gets folded away or turned away or such. So it can be kind of odd. And he has these weird little gaps all through him due to transformation. Just like full-on hole right there. Looks like, just doesn't look right. It looks like there's a panel missing. It almost looks like he's missing a piece where a panel should have folded over to make his side look more right. And he does have a little silver stamped out symbol there. And that's one of the only Autobot symbols you really see on them. So yeah, he's an odd looking lion. I do like the paint they gave him, but he really only looks good when you look at him from like forward or from like a certain angle like this. Looking at him directly from the side, you start seeing some issues. Let's get a good size comparison. Being a lion type transformer, he is much taller, of course, being an animal. So it doesn't really fit in scale with the cars here, or the tank. But I had to get a good idea of how he is. So yeah, that's his lion mode, not bad. He does have articulation, the head does not move at all. The legs can go back, and they can go forward, but they do clash with the vein, so you have to put them out slightly. That does mean he has a swivel. And these don't become arms or legs or anything, so these are actually pretty good articulation for them. Swivel at the... I'm not sure if you call it wrist or ankle. And you do get movement here, but you can also accidentally start popping it off. The back legs do articulate as well on ball joints, but they kind of move up here, mostly. Mainly because they're legs for the robot mode, and yeah, the joints are really tight and kind of the transformation starts coming apart. But you get the swivel, you get the ball joint, do get a hinge here, and you can use a transformation hinge for the leg if you want. You can also use the hinge on the leg, but no swivel, unlike the front legs. So yeah, he's an odd little lion mode. Don't really care for it as much. I mean, it's okay. Maybe it'd be better in different colors. It's just an okay lion mode. So let's get into his spaceship mode. So go straighten out the back legs. Go ahead and start flipping them inward. And come to this part here and flip these outward. Then you're going to swivel them inward, and they will just tab together. Go ahead and come underneath and unfold this fin, which is good for balancing it, as we'll see in a little bit. And these two panels exist solely for this purpose of making the spaceship mode a bit more solid looking. Then you're going to take the front legs and just fold them up underneath, just kind of tuck them in, like that. And finally, you'll unpeg this. This part will untab from the back of this. It'll have two hinges that'll flip around and tab to the underside of the lion, where the lion was. Take the lion's face, and you're going to split it all the way through, and you can kind of see the robot hands inside. They'll flip down on this hinge. This hinge, the top hinge here is attached to the lion head. Doesn't really, you don't really need to move it. You're just going to flip this back hinge that's closer to the chest down, and it will tab right there. As you can see, there's a little tab hole right in there where this silver tab goes in. There we go. And last but not least, gonna take the cockpit, I guess you could call it. The horns for robot mode popped out. Take it up onto the double hinge and put it in place. And you can see the reason we had to put this fin down was so that way you can have the spaceship mode sit nice and level. Alternatively, you could also take the lion paws and flip them out to kind of help balance it too. And that actually does make it stand pretty nicely. Plus, it's kind of just cool to use the lion paws in spaceship mode. And it does make a pretty decent spaceship. Just kind of gotta make sure all the pieces went in place. It's kind of similar to the lion mode for me, where it's just okay. It does enough to get by for its mode, but there are some issues. From the top and somewhat from the side, it actually looks a lot better than lion mode because it really does look like a spaceship. Looking at the details on it, it definitely gives off the aircraft carrier, where you can kind of see where they're going to reuse it for broadside. Because he's got all the little lines and such that you have for planes for an aircraft carrier. So, little details like that do stick out kind of funny, but he does look like a spaceship. You can take the gun, peg it in. Looks pretty good there, gives him a nice big weapon. And the sword, there's not really much you can do for storage, other than just peg it to one of the peg holes, whichever one you feel works best. I would be careful because some of these do have tabs sticking out that can kind of start bending the plastic on the sword. The best one I found is just to peg it into what will be the robot hand. But then it's just kind of sliding along the ground. Really not a good place to put this unless you kind of maybe... Nope. I don't know. There's not really a good place to put it. It's kind of just stuck there, and the horns popped out again. That doesn't usually happen. I just keep accidentally hitting that orange button there. But yeah, that's the spaceship mode. And yeah, you look on the bottom, you basically see the robot mostly built. Really, my only real problem is that the arms are exposed here. You could just, robot arms just kind of folded up right there. Doesn't really blend in at all because the colors don't match here, so just kind of a robot arm just looks like it got sawed off and attached to the side there. Plus, looking at the inner side, you just get two lion faces looking at you. It's an okay spaceship mode. I do like it a bit better than the lion mode because at least it feels nice and cohesive. There's no spaces in it at least. But it's just it's the same problem a lot of spaceship and airplane modes have. There's just a lot of junk from their modes. And it's just a thing you get from triple changers. They have to make sacrifices to fit in two different vehicle modes. And this one certainly makes a lot of sacrifices in both modes. Here he's next to Combined Wars Prowl and Titan's Return Hardhead, just to get a good idea of his size. And he's your typical Voyager size. So let's get on to his final transformation to robot mode. Go ahead and unpeg this. I guess you could leave it there, but just for the sake of transformation, let's get out of the way. Fold that fin back up. Come to the top here, untab it, and then use the double hinges to collapse it in so you have the lion head sticking outward. Same with the other side. Come back over here, take these red panels and fold them back down. Pretty much their only purpose was for the spaceship mode. Split this and then swivel it forward. Take the feet, and they are on a double hinge for transformation. You're kind of just going to want to line up this purple bit, this little purple part sticking out with the red bump there. Doesn't really click in or anything, but it does kind of give a tidy place for his legs to line up. And it's pretty simple transformation, as we're basically done. Only that's left is to fold out the arms here. You're just going to kind of pull down on them. Try not to snap into one of the fangs or something. Unbend the elbow and swivel it around. Unbend the... So do the same with the other side. Get it in place. Adjust the feet however you wish. Kind of from a bit more like that. Finally, come to the back here. Pull out the Titan Master. Usual transformation of just simply folding it up. Which you can see makes a pretty decent Alpha Trion head, although he has a similar problem to the lion where his eyes are silver, which works because it at least sticks out from the crest, but with his whole face being silver, it really only barely sticks out. And that's only because he has kind of like an underline of purple. But you're going to take it, peg it into place, and finally hit the orange button like I've been doing the whole review. And that gives him his giant horns that he has apparently. And there you have Alpha Trion in his robot mode. Alright, now we have Alpha Trion in robot mode. For size, here he is next to Combined Wars Prowl and Titan's Return Hardhead, who I just finished his review last week. And you see he's your typical Voyager scale. Definitely bigger than a Deluxe, but not... he's actually about twice, not twice, but about a third extra the size. Pretty good size. Oh. So yeah, he's really interesting. He definitely does not... He has the colors of Alpha Trion, certainly. But besides the head sculpt, nothing about this would really have screamed Alpha Trion to me, besides the colors and the head sculpt. Even without the head, actually if I take out the head, even the colors, certainly they match Alpha Trion, but I don't know, seem kind of all over the place. Oh, come on, get it back in there. He's kind of got the opposite problem with Galvatron, where Galvatron in some places had too much of one color. He's just kind of, his colors are constantly changing, which does look pretty cool, but also keeps him from looking particularly solid, per se. But he is quite bulky as well. I'm not sure what to think of this figure. It really is the only option we have for a classic / generation style Alpha Trion. But, I don't know. Only cheap option, I should say. There's technically the BotCon figure, but that's a little high price for anybody, really. He certainly looks bulky. He looks cool. It's just, I don't know if it says Alpha Trion to me. Maybe in his younger days, especially since he has the really short beard and mustache. He doesn't have the long one that he always had in the G1 cartoon. So, it's hard to say. It's kind of up to the person if it works for them. For me, it's working okay, but it's not perfect for me. Maybe it's just the lion heads. I don't know. The lion heads do seem kind of random. But as far as the look goes, it's alright. It looks cool. It's nothing wrong with the details, nothing wrong with this paint or any of that. Just doesn't match the character quite right for me. But that's just my personal thing. Maybe you like it, and if you do, I think you'll like this figure. He does have the usual swivel kind of contraption going on inside that a lot of the Voyagers have. Carried over from Sentinel Prime. I believe the new Optimus Prime has it too. He does have the swivel at the shoulder. He does have the outward movement, but it can't go that far due to the lion mouth. I wish this kind of folded or collapsed somehow. You do get a swivel, and you can bring the elbow forward. And you do get a swivel at the hands, which is pretty nice, since not a lot of Voyagers even got that. Actually, yeah, most of the Voyagers didn't get that. He's one of the only ones that got that. No waist swivel, but considering how it transforms, I can kind of understand it. You do get a hinge outward. You can move forward, but it's really tight on mine. This also is on a hinge if you need to move out of the way, but you might have to pop it open in order to do that. But you can get it up and out of the way. That's as far as the leg can really go. My leg goes pretty far back, just really tight. Swivel, knee joint, and as mentioned, double ankle kind of thing going on. Not too many things you can do with that because this is about as far forward as it'll go, but you could get going back or leaning back. So you could get him doing, say, some kind of stepping motion or stomp or something. And nothing side to side, so you really can't have the legs spread much more than you do. I mean, you could do it and you'll just have him stay on the corners, but there's no flat surface for him to stand on, basically. Speaking of which, he has some really odd looking feet. Like, he has this flat part here, but then he has like this, almost like a giant claw sticking out there. I don't know, it just looks really odd to me. Like, almost he has like they started to make a foot here, and then they just decided to give a flat one here. I also wish I could swap the legs around, because you're kind of stuck with just this flat, and got the ugly inside details there on this side, that's the outside of the leg. While here has a lot more bulky, a lot more almost natural look for it. So I do really wish I could kind of swap these around, which I probably could if I unscrewed it, but then the transformation wouldn't work. Decent articulation. They are getting better about it. He of course can hold the gun. Yeah, let's swivel him around and have the elbow joint forward. It does make his arm look a little less bulky. But you can have him have the three-barreled laser cannon. Personally, I prefer to put it on the back of the shoulder. Kind of give him a shoulder-mounted weapon. And instead, have him hold the sword, which I'm not sure if I got an up-close look at it really, but it is a really nice sculpt for the sword. The handle's got a lot of nice intricate details with the handle guard. Even though it's clear plastic, there's a lot of nice details going through here, and it is painted purple, I believe. This isn't purple plastic, it's actually painted purple, I think. So that's kind of cool. And it is a nice design on the sword. Lots of different details going through it. And it does look good with it. I'm not sure if Alpha Trion ever used the sword. I can't remember quite from the G1 show. But, there you go. He is Optimus Prime's teacher, so he's got to have some kind of fighting skills. And that's Alpha Trion. Overall, I think he's a decent figure. If you desperately need some kind of Classics Generation, Universe, etc. version of Alpha Trion, he's probably your best bet for it, especially for the price. If you don't really care about having Alpha Trion, but you want you like cool lion figures, or you want a spaceship or anything else of the sort, maybe hold out for the Leo convoy that Takara is making. But overall, I think he's good. I do have some personal things that I don't like about him, but for me, I think that's just nitpicks and personal nitpicks. I think most people will be fine with it, especially to finally get an Alpha Trion figure. Oh, his horns weren't all the way up. That is one little thing. His horns sometimes get stuck. They still don't quite line up with the crest. But, yeah, he's a cool figure. I wouldn't say run out and get him now, but definitely pick him up if you see him for a good price, or you just need an Alpha Trion. So, this has been Nerd Transformed. I hope you enjoyed this review, and hope you have a good day. Take care.